So today we're going to be dropping some gold nuggets on how you can start improving your life right now. And hopefully by the end of this podcast, if you are in that rut and you are deciding that you want to change your life, you can start right now. You can start as you're listening to this podcast, and you will be on a journey, not just on self-improvement, for a better life. And I'm really rooting for you. Always. But let's get down to the story. When I was living through the time of loss, a time where everything was messy, literally and figuratively, where my mind was all over the place. Again, I was listening to everyone's tell me to do this, do that, that kind of thing. And I just agreed because I did not think for myself. And in my own room, my own life, my literal room, this room, it was messy because I had things not organized. They were all over the place. And that was the metaphor to how my entire life was being run at that time. And there's no other elaboration and higher explanation to say how bad my life was at that time. But I didn't know that it was bad until I sat down to realize that, hey, everything around me does not have a place. That means the pens are not in its place, the clothes are not in the right order, they're not folded nicely, it is not organized nicely. And with my brain, everything was all over the place. Because I was thinking of doing this, I was listening to this, I wanted to do this, but I had a whole bunch of that to do. So many things. And there wasn't a visual place that I could look at these things and say, all right, I'm organized now. I know what to do first. What my hit list is, step 1, step 2, the things that I want to do. I did not have that. And only when I realized that, hey, I did not have this, I needed to make one. And after making one, I could just go down the list. And once I went down the list, I realized that, things start to clear. My mind started to clear. The room started to be more, feng shui in a way where I could actually walk through the room and not step and trip on things, hurt myself and think, why is my life like this? Yeah, everything just went into its own place. It seems so obvious, but it was not to me. Because when you are in this whole life struggle thing, you're facing life head on. Sometimes the obvious does not seem at a hand's reach because you are looking far into the distance for security when everything you need is right here. You don't look down, you don't look at the things around you, you don't check yourself first. You look far and wide, which is, I wouldn't say it's the wrong thing to do, but at that point in time, it's like you in Minecraft looking through unloaded chunks. Everything is fog. And looking into fog, you see nothing. So I was looking into fog. I just needed to look down and say like, yo, I have 2 feet. They're right here. I can walk. And that is where I should start, by taking one small step. I'm talking very literally, figuratively, and metaphorically all at once. It just carries on in all places because that was how I was then. And when things started to clear, things started to be more, the fog lifted, and now I can see abundance of everything, like I always talked about. Yeah. So where do you start? Right now, if you're listening to this in your room and you think your life is a mess, well, you just need to look around you right now and see your current space, your current place that you're living. Is it clean? Are you clean? Are you ready for the day? If you're rotting in bed, it's time to stop rotting and go take a shower. But right after you clean your room, start with that. Start with your living space. Because once you have a living space and you start moving, that is when you inspire yourself to keep on moving. We talked about this before. The energy needs to go somewhere. And if you're not using your energy to actually do anything, then that's just dormant energy just waiting to be used. Use that first. Use that energy to clear out the trash, clear a room, clear yourself, clean yourself. And when you feel fresh, everything is clean, then we can slowly decide. I know there are going to be clothes all over the place and that kind of thing. It's okay. Just dump everything into the different drawers first, closed up, have a nice smooth drawer that you can look at first from the exterior, and we'll slowly clear the interior. And again, this carries forward to your own self, because right after we clear all these kind of things, then your mind is all over the place, right? We want to start by making a list of the things that you have to do. Doesn't matter if it's important or not important, just write everything down on paper. The more you see it visually, the more you will start to realize that, hey, either I'm thinking a lot about the same thing, or either I'm thinking about, there's so many things that I'm thinking about that some of them aren't really that important. They've just been on my mind. But now that I see it for real on a piece of paper, it isn't that bad actually. An example for this would be, oh, I have to wash the dishes. You write it down. And when you look at the sink, well, there's just one bowl down there. It was just a laziness that I did not want to do at that point in time. But now that I realize, oh, it's just one bowl, I can get to it. And now it's on my number one list. And I'll do that first. And when I start clearing that, I start clearing other things. And once I start clearing other things, it will just domino effect, and I'll start going down the list. So yeah, make that list. Doesn't matter if it's important or not. Just make that list and just dump your brain first. I used to brain dump many sheets of paper. I think I talked about this a very long time ago when I was making personal development videos on my own channel. But that was, when I wanted to brain dump something, I used to have the back of leaflets that people, just hand out. I would take that, and I needed to, brain dump everything down. And I would just take out my pen, brain dump it on these small little leaflets. And I felt good, because the more that you have not just a visual place, but a dumping ground for your thoughts, your mind starts to clear. And I found that very helpful. So if you have never tried that before, that's something that you can try that will allow you to do that. We won't go into the whole talk to someone, that kind of thing. That's like the next stage of, clearing yourself. Because at that point in time also, I was quite timid, not really confident, not really independent. I was still scared to talk to people at the time. I didn't really find myself at the time. So talking about looking at your 2 feet, going step by step, do that first. Focus on yourself first. You don't have to focus on the rest of the world. Don't care about the rest of the world. I want to say something else, like the world doesn't really care about you. That's the truth. But at the same time, it can hurt. And we don't want to hurt ourselves even more than we already are right now. With life that we're already living, we have work, we have school, we have the few people that we're trying to support, or we're trying to live with, that kind of thing. We want to just focus our energy on the things that we can control first, and then we can focus on all the exterior, all the other things out there that are important, we must get to, but we will get to it eventually. Focus on yourself first. So yeah, recapping, make that list, go down the list, and do the things that you need to do. And once you're doing that, once you clear your room, once you clear that list, then what you want to do next is to write down what do you want to improve about yourself. And this can be anything. You want to wake up early, you want to start having a good diet, or actually backpedal, you want to start eating more fiber, you want to eat more veggies, you want to go to the gym, sign up for a gym membership, anything. Don't have an end date for that or any of these things, because it will compound over time. Whether it's your fitness, whether it's your skill of cooking, whether it's anything, don't have an end date for it. Just show up regularly to whatever. And when I mean regularly, it means different things to different things, basically. So when you want to run regularly, you've never ran before, and you show up once a week, that's regular. Don't say regular and run every single day, go to injury, don't run again. It won't work like that. Take it very slow. You say once a week, show up on Monday morning, 7 a.m., run for 15 minutes, do that. For the next Mondays, you're just going to run for 15 minutes, and then you're slowly going to increase. You want to improve on running, now make it 16 minutes, or maybe you can run 2 km in 15 minutes, for example. Then run 2.5 km as you slowly, progressively overload yourself. One mistake that I used to do, which a lot of people talk about, and I have lived through this experience too, is trying to load too many things at one time. You want to do something like 75 hard, where you're supposed to do 2 exercises, 45-minute exercises. One must be outside. You want to drink 1 gallon of water. You want to drink, you want to follow a diet, and then you're going to make it super healthy. You want to go on a calorie deficit. You also want to read 10 pages of a book, and you've never read a book before. All these things in accumulation, you want to try something like that when you are already in the fire zone, fighting fires. It's going to be hard. So don't try to do so many things at one time. I went into this rut before. I went into trying so many things at one time. And where did that let me up? Not really doing anything at all, because it was just too overwhelming and I gave up. So you might want to take it slow. You want to take it at a pace that you can control, because what we are trying to build, and this is something that I've learned through learning how to learn, where when I was reading the books, it does make a lot of sense where you do something, let's say today it's I'm not sure what day is it, but like you do something today, then after that you do it for the next few days, and then the few days after that you don't do the thing. Okay, wait, I'm not making my example very well. Just think of me playing the saxophone. When I started playing the saxophone, I did it for 7 days straight, and then I stopped for 3 days, and then I went on 7 days straight again. And something that I read inside the Learning How to Learn books, like Make It Stick and that kind of thing, is the concept of your neurons. Basically, your brain needs time to make those connections. And that is something that you're waiting for. Even when you're not doing something, it's similar to muscle building, where your rest is where you build the muscle, not when you're at the gym. So in the same manner, you need time for your brain to connect itself. Yeah. So in that same manner, when you are slowly improving yourself and things that you're trying to improve about yourself, what you are waiting for is trying to get into the habit of doing these things. It's going to hurt for the few first times that you do it. Let's say you want to wake up at 7 a.m. every day, and that's the only thing that you want to improve first, because you don't want to do so many things, because you said that, okay, that's the only thing that you want to do first. Sure. And you do that, first few times of trying to break into the 7 a.m. kind of thing, it's going to be hard. But slowly as you progress, week 2, week 3, week 4, it starts to get easier. Repetition. Some days you can, wake up a little bit later, but then you start to realize that, hey, actually, it's starting to get easier. But it only takes time, similar to my running. When I first started running last year, I was going very, very slow to the point that people could walk beside me, pace 15 minutes per kilometer. That was very, very slow. But these days, I can run at 750 pace. Yeah, per kilometer if I wanted to. If I sprinted, then I can do 6 minutes per pace. You see, sprinting to me, it's very hard right now. And I'm still slower than all the average looking, fit people out there. But it's okay, it's still running. Take it step by step. At the start of my running journey, it was very painful. After that slow 15k, pace 15 km per mile, 15 minutes per km, I needed to rest for 3 days. That was how bad it was, because I was big. It was a lot of damage to my feet, but I still want to run. So that was hard. But after that, the rest times became shorter. From 3 days, it became 2 days, became 1 day, I don't need to take breaks in between days so I can run a kilometer. But now I can run 10 km every single day if I wanted to, because I can manage myself. And I have grown. My feet has grown and has adapted to this type of training. My body has said, all right, Nick is going to be doing these kind of crazy things. Therefore, my body needs to shift itself to this. Similar to your brain that is slowly connecting itself to each other to say like, all right, this person is doing something new. We have to get into the habit of this. Therefore, we need to slowly connect our brain cells and that kind of thing. So what we're waiting for, that will only come in time, is the things that we can control, which is the repetition and also just showing up to do it consistently. I hope that really explains something, because I'm trying to explain it in my own words. I don't want to pull it from other people. And this is something that is a common reminder that a lot of people talk about, but not enough. Seemingly not enough, because as I'm talking to a few of my friends, that you might see them on the surface, they got a good life and that kind of thing, but behind the scenes, they're a bit messy here and there. And I only wish that this message could get to them, and they would realize that, hey, if you wanted to be even better than me, or even better than this current version of yourself, if this was a little bit cleaner, you would get through the house like zoom zoom. You would do things zoom zoom. But they are so cluttered by doing other things. They're so distracted. It's so hard for them to just focus. And all they needed to do is just sit down and just like list the things that they need to do, not fly here, fly there, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's why I wanted to create this episode. Hopefully this will reach them, or reach someone who is feeling that they are stuck in a gut and not sure where to get on going. This is where you start. This is where you go. So that's all I have to say for today. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.